Today's Eon Network episode is very much different than the previous episodes that we've been talking about. As you all know, a controversial figure by the name of Smart Schoolboy 9 has took this entire internet by storm. Me and my broadcast colleague T got the chance to interview the man. Smart Schoolboy 9, David, thanks for joining us today. You allegedly chased children, took suggestive pictures of them, and even made very strange videos of yourself. Why exactly do you even do this?
Yes, I've had my share of controversies, and I won't deny it.
FAKE. Fake content has always plagued the YouTube platform, from harmless clickbait that misleads the audience in order to gain more temporary viewers, to nefarious scams ran by bad actors who intend to deceive the viewer into giving them quick cash. But one form of fake media has kept the public talking since the election of the largest figurehead the world has come to know: fake news.
You are fake news. Fake news. The fake news is creating violence.
Despite wherever you land on the political spectrum, whether it be liberal, conservative, or even a leftist, it cannot be denied that the idea of someone spreading deceptive information with the goal of monetary, influential, or political gain has been something that has come to the forefront of public perception. It is now more necessary than ever to have watchful eyes and be critical of the information we receive. And today, we have a channel that specializes in spreading fake news, to the point where it cannot be certain whether anything that they have supposedly reported on for years has been factual. Whether intended or not, a once successful channel that has diverged so far off the path of fame that they have resulted to using this disingenuous practice for views. I was first exposed to this account while browsing the YouTube homepage. Among an assortment of videos involving whatever YouTube thinks I may watch for the day was the video, The Real Smart Schoolboy 9 Interview, His Message to the World.
Today's Eon Network episode is very much different than the previous episodes that we've been talking about. Earlier today, me and my broadcast colleague T got the chance to interview the man.
There are a few parts of this video that stand out upon first watch. First, Smart Schoolboy 9 was a heavily reported on topic that got a lot of people talking. In fact, the whole internet for about a month. If this was an actual interview, then how come this video has not garnered more attention? It would be groundbreaking if someone could actually get a hold of this guy, but yet for some reason, this video does not have that many views. Now, of course, to give benefit of the doubt, maybe people just haven't seen it yet. You know how the YouTube algorithm is, maybe this just wasn't pushed out enough, and it is genuine. Well, there's a couple more things that make this video seem a bit off. When watching the video, Smart Schoolboy 9 has a particularly odd speech pattern, and a condensed voice reminiscent of AI voices we see in use currently.
Why exactly do you even do this?
Yes, I've had my share of controversies, and I won't deny it. But let me tell you something. The world is a messy place filled with all sorts of strange and unusual things. I'm simply an observer, taking it all in. For the pictures and videos, well, let's just say I have a unique perspective on life.
Third point, there is not a single question actually answered in this interview. Every question is brushed off and nothing new is said. In fact, it doesn't really say anything at all.
I don't understand how exactly you can say
I know
that.
this might be a little uncomfortable for some people. I don't want to disclose too much information.
Could you tell us about these rumors that people found your house?
I can't disclose too much information, but I've heard people finding my house and throwing bricks at the windows.
How was your life like as a kid, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not going to disclose too much about my childhood.
And this doesn't really make sense. Considering the interviewee's character, we can tell that he's someone who really wants attention. I mean, he literally became this phenomenon by pretending to be a mom that was calling out other predators pretending to be kids, only to then slowly reveal that he was a predator himself to get more eyes on his content.
So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
So it wouldn't really make sense for this person so obsessed with themselves and this weird thing that they're doing to not give out more info if they're going to do an interview and say something to inspire more controversy or more infamy. And yet this voice that's supposedly him does not do that. So the next step in figuring out this weird interview I come across is to click on the channel Eon Network. We can see that this is not his only Smart Schoolboy 9 video. he has 7 others that also seem to be reporting on unverified information. Now, the most egregious examples of this that are being reported on by Eon Network are one where it reports that he was dead.
Did you ever expect for this news to get stranger and stranger, more shocking as the days go by? I'm joined by my broadcast colleague, T, and I understand, T, that you actually have some news to share dealing with the man himself, Smart Schoolboy 9.
Allegedly, that he is found was found dead. Now that is allegedly.
Now, that is definitely, like you said, the best word to describe it, allegedly, because we don't 100% know exactly what has happened, exactly what triggered this event. What we do know is that there are other people out there who say that he was caught, and I was just searching up right now as we speak. I was just searching up some of the stuff.
Now, to be clear, technically, Eon Network never claims that this information is substantiated. But personally, I do not think saying the journalistic equivalent of "I don't know though" is a valid justification or excuse for the criticism you receive when reporting and platforming completely unsubstantiated claims. Now, after seeing these videos, it made me curious. What type of channel reports in such a low-effort way, with minimal sources and possibly even faking an interview for clicks? Well, when looking at his whole channel, we get a larger picture of who Eon Network really is. As you can see, for some weird reason, a lot of killer clown videos in the year 2024. This may make you question, seeing all these videos, is there a new killer clown epidemic? Does Eon Network know something we don't? The answer is no.
We know the killer clowns have their eyes set on California, as we of course were told a couple of episodes ago, but it looks like that plan may not be coming into fruition because there might be a barricade. Warriors of the Night have sent a message claiming that they're not going to back down, that they're going to be going to California and they're going to be battling these killer clowns so they can actually protect citizens from not only the state of California, but really around the world. And of course, California apparently will be the first of many different states and countries that the killer clowns are going to be targeting.
Basically, it's all fake as well, and it's way more blatant with the amount of LARPing going on. Specifically, I'm sure we all know there is not a killer clown purge in 2024, and he's claiming there's a bunch of reports of killer clowns threatening to go to schools or do this or that, and I'm sure we all know that's not happening because there's not a single actual news source on that right now. So Eon Network essentially spams out a ton of fake videos in an attempt to attract viewers. And there are some times where it works and gets a decent amount of attention, but a lot of times where it completely fails. So the question I'm beginning to ask, and maybe you are too, is what would lead to this point where a channel would constantly post unsubstantiated videos despite getting very little attention from it? Well, if we want to find out that, we need to go to where it all started. For a while, Eon Network used to just be a gaming channel. He started his YouTube as basically all of us did when we tried our first YouTube account at the age of 11. His videos are reminiscent of those old funny moment YouTubers like H2O Delirious, except he commentates the gameplay like an esport instead of playing.
For the bottom. You gotta do it for the bottom.
Oh, wait a minute. It's knockout 150 going against the last man standing here. There's actually 60 seconds remaining into this round here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, both men have swords here. It looks like knockout is wasting little time here.
He would host gaming challenges and events that brought people together to compete. It was honestly quite impressive that he was able to cultivate this community considering the size of his channel at the time. But as you can tell from the views, this genre of content is extremely hard to break into. It's a saturated genre with a first come, first serve mentality that is extremely hard to stand out in, and even more difficult to determine what your audience wants next. I mean, how do you get someone to watch your friend group play a game when they could just play it with their own friend group? Or, if they don't have friends, watch an already established YouTuber in the genre. These factors made this genre unrealistic to many, and Eon Network would never be able to make any substantial progress in it for the 3 years that he would do this. And after those 3 years, it must have been time for Eon Network to make some type of change, where Eon Network would try something new in order to gain YouTube fame, and it led him to being able to break a substantial milestone for his channel. He was able to make actual progress and growth for the first time, and the video that started off this new path for his channel was Jonathan Galindo interview explains the message of the Blue Whale Challenge. Now, to understand the reason this post was substantial, we first need to do a bit of brief internet review on what the Blue Whale Challenge is, since it's been 4 years since this has been in the news. A surprising phenomenon occurs among blue whales that has left even the most studied marine biologists guessing. Some theorize this mysterious act is because of sickness, injury, bad weather, or a fault in their echolocation abilities. But whatever the reason, either way, it is evidently true that blue whales have a tendency to beach themselves. And in the process, they end up stranded and with no way of turning back into the ocean. They inevitably cease to exist. This process is the inspiration for the Blue Whale Challenge, where these nefarious actors running the game act as the tides, and their victims are treated no better than these whales. Their entire motive is to make them wash themselves ashore, with no better reason than they wanted to. It is a sick, demented game, where the perpetrator messages the victim for 50 days while encouraging them to harm themselves more and more, increasing in severity with each day. And at the end, the perpetrator pressures them to end it all. The ones responsible for this game have been identified as the creator, Philip Budukin, who pleaded guilty to urging 16 teens to end their own lives. His reasoning? Cleansing the world of biological waste. He was sentenced to 3 years in Russian prison. Another man, Ilya Sidorov, was also arrested under the suspicion of administering the Blue Whale Challenge. He would confess to being related to the death of a 13-year-old girl. This phenomenon was unthinkable for the time and blew up all over the news.
Challenge tonight, a brand new threat to the safety of your family and your kids.
Unfortunately, with something as big as this, there are copycats, people who look at this fame as a good thing and attempt to replicate it to get the same notoriety. And these bad actors came with a new face. They would call him Jonathan Galindo. Many of those administering the game would begin to use this face because of its uncanny nature, with intent to scare the victims. But it's important to note that this face is not from someone who's actually responsible for the game. It was originally a cosplay from the Twitter user Dusky Sam. He would make a statement saying that he is in no way affiliated with the game and disavows it. So essentially, Jonathan Galindo was just a character made to scare little children even more. But now that you know the whole backstory to the situation, the gravity of these actions, and the fact that Jonathan Galindo isn't even real, how does this video by Eon Network claiming to interview Jonathan Galindo make you feel?
First off, Jonathan, welcome. What exactly is the Blue Whale Challenge?
It is a challenge that includes over a 50-day period. And in those 50 days, we introduce objectives that allows people to know themselves, and eventually cause self-harm.
Well, what is your objective, your main purpose? Finding joy in harming others without any shred of emotions.
It's not that I find joy in it, no. It's the outsiders. The people not from this world. That's the joy they seek.
There's a couple things. If this is such a serious interview, why does he have Minecraft music in the background?
First off, Jonathan, welcome.
That's really weird. And also this voice modulation thing he keeps doing, it's such an obviously fake interview, but it's like this came out during the time this whole Blue Whale situation was going on. So how tone deaf do you have to be to make a fake interview video on the subject when it's happening, when people actually died because of it? I don't know, that's a little gross to me. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the Eon Network has no shame in completely fabricating videos and information on very serious topics for views. This is a video claiming to be an interview on a serious situation that has led to the loss of actual lives. Real events with real life consequences behind them. But with most people unable to decipher the inauthenticity of these claims, considering his audience is a bunch of children, he would only gain from the deception. And in so, this would mark a complete change of his content. He would continue to post more of these fake Jonathan Galindo videos, except these videos would not perform nearly as well. But the lack of views, of course, would not discourage Eon Network, and it led him to posting one video that would change his content forever and inspire even the posts of today. That is his first video to ever cover killer clowns.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gaming Weekly as we kick off the broadcast with some disturbing and breaking news. In fact, many people have been speculating, can 2020 get even worse? Well, it may very well have. In fact, right now we're facing a very severe pandemic. However, in a couple of weeks, we may very well face another pandemic, one that is more creepy, one that is downright sinister.
So in this video, Adrian's broadcasting colleague T would make a claim about seeing the killer clowns.
Joining me live right now is my broadcast colleague Rebel T1087, the man that joins me on a weekly basis for the TGW broadcast. Welcome, Rebel, and this is a very interesting and yet very, well, scary situation dealing with you, because according to what you said earlier this week, you got a chance to confront one of these clowns earlier this week. Take me through this.
It was scary, you know. I thought I saw my brother Galindo, but I didn't. I saw a face of a clown. And I'm afraid of clowns. And it was just frightening, man.
What was next for you? I mean, what exactly happened right after you saw this clown? Did you report it to the cops? Did you tell your family? What was going on?
I had to do what I had to do. I had to get law enforcement involved, you know.
Now, of course, there's no way for us to know whether this is true or not. It technically could be true. We can't just say he's lying for the sake of it. Although his history of posts does lead us to believe more on the not true side rather than true. But there is one thing that is somewhat odd about this video. If we look at the title, it says killer clowns are back in 2022. But if we look at the description and see the actual post date, this was posted in September 9th, 2020, meaning either somehow Eon Network made a typo and didn't fix it, or he updated this later on in order to get more clicks on it after the year of 2020 happened, which would be a new level of deception that I did not know was even possible. Kind of insane, but this video would garner the most attention his channel has ever gotten at 172,000 views. This is nothing to scoff at, and if played off properly, could have led Eon Network to becoming a potential influential channel for the future. But as they say, cheaters never prosper, and particularly in Eon Network's case, it seemed to be from a lack of innovation. He would continue to output content in mass, reporting on different events despite whether they were verifiable or not, including topics such as EDP, Jake Paul, and even Osama bin Laden. But despite his attempts to garner attention with relevant topics, he would gain no traction, nothing even close to his original Killer Clown video. And because he did not see this traction, it seems he would fall back onto what worked best for him. So now Eon Network posts Killer Clown content around Halloween every year.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gaming Weekly, and now it is time. It's that time of year again. It is the Killer Clown hunting season, where every single year the Killer Clowns begin to plan some major purge happening on the 31st of October. That is Halloween.
In hopes of gaining the viewership he once had, but in his futile efforts, he is left to LARP in the void and fabricate topics without any real reason. A channel once with potential made from dishonesty and lies that had the chance to swim to the top and make a breakthrough now remains in the ever-expanding pit of YouTube irrelevancy, all because he couldn't be bothered to even put in enough work to get his facts right. If you enjoyed this video on another really weird person on the internet, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me who to cover next.